In Germany, if you close your front door and don't lock it, you're still locked out of your house.
Today we're talking about the top 5 weird things about German apartments.
Giddy up. Welcome back. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Alex. And we're two Americans who have been living in Germany for over 10 years. And we're here to share with you our experiences about what it's like to be in this predicament.
Speak kind of fast. But first, go ahead and hit subscribe down below if you want more videos like these. And if you can, buy the like button, a bottle of Kavlan whiskey. He just finally got an apartment in Berlin.
That is hard.
Speaking of apartments.
That's what we're speaking of.
Whiskey? Woo, that's better.
Yeah. Cheers.
Woo, Taiwanese whiskey. Not too bad.
What'd you say?
Taiwanese whiskey.
Oh, it's good. Anyways.
But right now we're in Germany.
We are in Germany.
Let's go ahead and talk about the top 5 weird things about German apartments. These are things that you'll notice almost right away. And if any of you have seen that show, House Hunters International, and you'll see people from America coming to Germany or really anywhere in Europe,
you'll
find them complaining about things that once you live here, you're like, what are you complaining about? That's normal.
That's pretty average.
Yeah.
And I think the first one, like you mentioned, is the doors and the locks here in Germany. So this goes 2 ways. So the front door, you always need a lock to get in, which makes sense. And then you take that same key to lock your door from the inside. Now,
there's no deadbolt that you turn. The key is your method of locking on both sides of the door.
Which makes it easy to not lose your keys because you just put it in your door at the end of the day.
You know where it is.
You know where it is.
Yeah.
But if you close your door, it's automatically locked no matter what. Which means if you leave your apartment without a key and you close the door, you're not getting back in.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where it's not technically locked, but because the outside of the door does not have a knob that moves. Like in the US, if you were to close your front door without locking it, you just go, turn the doorknob, push forward, the door opens.
Easy peasy.
Here, the doorknobs are static. They do not move on the outside. So once you close that door, there's now no way to open that door without the key. There is a problem of forgetting, because you maybe pop out to get your mail or something quick like that. And I was worried about this for years, and it was about 10 years, no problems, me really not wanting this to happen. And finally, one day, I stepped out of my house on a very cold day, shirtless, just wearing sweatpants to grab something, and I closed the door behind me. And because I've lived here for so long, the moment I heard that door shut, this wave of shock went through me, and I realized what I had done. Luckily, my wife doesn't work too far away, and for some reason, my cell phone was in my sweatpants pocket, and I was able to call her, and she could bring the key. Otherwise, it would be a long walk down the road.
Yeah, it's not a fun experience to look back at the door and see it close while you're reaching out for it, but then you're too late and you're locked out. So don't forget your key when you're leaving your apartment, ever. But
one time, oddly enough, that it actually is good is like, say if you have a friend staying at your place,
yes.
You don't have an extra key for them, and they're leaving in the middle of the day when you're at work, you just tell them, just close the door behind you. The door is now technically locked. Now, of course, it's not locked so somebody could jimmy their way in there if they had,
right.
the knowledge.
But you can't open it.
Yeah.
That way. And then another weird thing about the rooms and the locks and the keys is a lot of the rooms inside apartments have a little kind of like skeleton key thing that's removable. So you can lock the door from the inside, but also from the outside, which is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, and that's another weird thing because in the States, most bedroom doors, if they have locks, it's a little
push.
A little push or a little switch built into the doorknob.
Right.
If you want your privacy, go click. Here, it's kind of this huge keyhole that you see kind of in
from like 1743.
Right, and your method of closing is just by turning this weird skeleton key. But a lot of times you move into a place and they've already lost all the skeleton keys, so you're just not locking your doors.
I live in a new spot, and I think I lost my key the first 2 weeks.
Now the third thing, who knows? Funny thing about German apartments is that they come with nothing. Now when I say nothing. If you're, say, you're apartment searching and you're going to go check out an apartment, you walk in, and of course, there's no furniture, usual. But then you'll notice that out of the ceiling, there's just wires hanging where a light bulb used to be, or a lighting fixture. Okay, interesting. And then maybe you'll go into the kitchen and you'll just see bare walls with pipes, the ends of pipes sticking out of the walls because they have taken not just the fridge, the cabinets, the counters, the sink, the everything, even though this stuff was custom for this specific kitchen and will not fit in the next kitchen. They have taken it anyways.
Yeah.
But this is normal.
It's totally normal. By law, at least here in Berlin, I'm not sure about Germany, nationwide, your landlord has to provide you something to cook on. So it doesn't have to be a stove. It could be a hot plate, technically. Yeah. Usually it's a stove and an oven and a sink, and that's it. Everything else, you just get yourself or custom build, or if you're lucky, some apartments do come with kitchens, but it's pretty rare. Or if you're also lucky, the last tenant left their kitchen for you. But again, rare.
It is what it is.
And there's also, you might say, well, let me look at the closet. I know I see house hunters a lot. Let me look at the closet space. I have my walk-in for my shoes. Yeah. I always like to joke, like, for me and for my shoes, and you can have the other 10%.
Or this is enough for me, but what about your stuff?
What about your stuff? Here, you're not going to do that because there are no closets. There are no built-in, really anything. Some older apartments you might find these weird apartments, but generally, there's no built-in closet. So you just buy your own, closet or armoire or whatever you want.
Yeah, you call it a wardrobe. Yeah, it's basically... It is a standalone closet. But if you live in Germany, you probably think that that's pretty normal. But as we know, growing up in the US, I would say 80-90% of all homes, there is the built-in closet space.
I think that's a huge selling point. It's like, great kitchen, great closets. But here you don't have to worry about it because they don't exist. So
yeah, here you walk into
less stress on you.
Yeah, here you walk into a bedroom and it is just a big empty room and you have to provide everything else.
Finding apartments so hard anyways. As long as you have any room, you're like, it's good enough.
True.
It's a room.
It's pretty hard to find apartments in Berlin these days.
It is.
But another thing that is hard to find are screens on your windows.
No
that
screens.
Is number 9 on our weird things.
It is
in German apartments.
You open your window and bugs, anyone can come in. So there's no screens. They don't really exist.
Well, yeah, actually, for those who do not live in the U.S., what are we talking about? We're talking about screens.
Screens like a little mesh that Americans have in front of their windows, so bugs, don't fly when the window's open at night. But in Germany, you can buy them, but I've only seen them, I think, once. And
we've had people ask us, what happens? Do you just fall out of the window? And is there just birds and stuff flying in? And oddly enough, not really.
You have flies
here or
there.
Flies, but don't really have a problem with mosquitoes or anything once in a while, but nothing major.
It's oddly not as big of a problem as you think it would be.
Yeah. And actually, another weird thing about the windows is they're very different than American-style windows. American-style windows are usually 2 pieces where one, you lift up, it slides, and now half the window is exposed. That's the most you could open. Here, the whole window
ajar
swings open, revealing the entire window space, or you can turn the knob in a different way and it just creaks open a little bit if you just want a little bit of air, but you still want to protect against rain or whatever.
Which is great in the winter to get just fresh air around. You're not gonna get too cold, but you're still getting some fresh air in. It's an ingenious design.
They're very cool. The downside is because these windows are huge, if you want it fully open, you imagine this whole thing swinging wide open. And so, of course, if you have any furniture or anything, there's no way to open your window because, even on mine, you have to remove 5 different plants just to swing open.
It's true.
And it's just sticking into your room, and you're going to hit your face. It's actually kind of annoying in certain times.
True.
But
and that goes for some doors too. Some doors also open can kind of tip like this. And also open up
Oh, you mean patio doors?
Yeah, patio doors. Not like house doors, patio doors.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Next weird thing, it's not really weird, but it is kind of weird. There's a lot of older homes in Berlin, obviously. It's an old city.
And it would be weird for us because the U.S. is a newer country. So in the U.S., you're not renting an apartment from 1805. Usually it's an apartment built within the past 40, 50 years.
But also because of the colorful history of Germany and Berlin, Berlin was bombed a lot. I have a mixture of some old, really pre-war buildings, and then these kind of post-war, especially in the East, these GDR block apartments.
GDR be East Germany, so
Germany.
Soviet era, very cheap, ugly, flat buildings.
But solid buildings. You look at those, or those new modern fancy ones, and they all have their different quirks. And I've lived in all 3 of these types of apartments. My first was an old pre-war.
It's called an Altbau.
An old build.
Oh, yeah, old build. For the building apartment I live in now is from 1895, which is pretty standard if you live in Germany to live in a building that is more than 100 years old. And and they have their quirks, but the cool thing is they have huge vaulted ceilings that are probably 3-4 feet taller than an average American ceiling.
Easy.
So
Crown molding.
Yeah, crown moldings. Of course, like underneath the wall, it's most likely Swiss cheese because it's been 100 years of people hanging shelves and pictures, and so it's just like all kinds of holes that have been covered up. Like,
but they're made super solid. That's something else to remember. Like buildings here are made of stone, not just wood with insulation in between.
Yeah, there's practically no wood buildings here. I mean, they're all solid stone.
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes drilling into your walls really difficult, but you don't need to find a stud, so you can drill whatever you want, I guess. And I think one of the last things we can say is I don't want to freak any Americans listening out.
Oh.
But you're not going to find a dryer. They don't exist. People do not dry their clothes in dryers here.
No, guys, you have to go to work in wet clothing.
That's it. We all are wearing wet clothes. But yeah, they don't do them here. There's no hookups for them. There's no ventilation for them.
And one of the reasons is, I mean, in Germany, the apartments are much smaller. Like there just is no space to waste on a dryer. And I think it's also an energy thing because here you just hang up your clothes to dry on a drying rack. And,
even if you have a house, people...
And especially in the summer, in a day or two, they're completely dry.
Yeah, I think it's kind of seen as an unnecessary appliance to have.
Right, waste of electricity. Yeah.
Going from dryer to no dryer, it's not that hard of a transition. It takes a little bit, but it's easy. And it keeps your clothes, nice and fresh as well.
Ooh. Yeah. You know what also keeps me nice and fresh?
What's that?
This whiskey.
Yes.
What do you think?
Skavalan, I like it a lot. I'm going to give it like a 7 out of 10.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Good for you.
And what do you give them?
I give you a please stay safe, stay healthy, and of course,
stay thirsty.
Thank you. Cheers.
In Germany, if you don't lock it. If you want to get videos like these, and if you can, buy the bottle